Inside this federal courthouse, what should have been a routine federal fraud case ended up with the Department of Justice, prosecutor, and the defense attorney in the case both being charged with destroying evidence. That defense attorney was working with a confidential informant who was giving information to the FBI and prosecutors. The case involved 3 men accused of healthcare fraud. According to court records, one of the men was an FBI informant secretly working with the prosecutor. The attorneys for all 3 men agreed to work together, not knowing that one of those attorneys was representing the informant who was listening in on meetings with the defense team. Dan Haygood represented one of the other 2 defendants. So now the allegation is that he was taking attorney-client privilege because you all are discussing the case.
Yes.
And he's feeding it to the prosecutor, or what happened?
For the entire time he was in our joint defense agreement, he was a confidential human source for the FBI.
Defense attorneys learned about the informant and then demanded text messages between the informant's lawyer, Barrett Howell, and the lead prosecutor in the case, Carlos Lopez. But just days before they were supposed to go before the judge to review those text messages, court documents show that the men deleted those text messages while they were under subpoena.
Once we ask for them, the judge grants the order saying, turn that stuff over. Stuff starts getting deleted. And that's obstruction of justice by any definition.
There was an emergency hearing on the matter with U.S. District Judge Barbara Lynn. According to court documents, Judge Lynn learned that the Department of Justice had already assured her all texts had been produced, only to discover that wasn't true. As prosecutors apologized, she made it clear the damage went far beyond a simple error. She says, "What I am seeing on the 1 to 10 scale of outrageousness, probably an 11. The Justice Department dismissed charges against the men in the original fraud case. Meanwhile, prosecutor Carlos Lopez and defense attorney Barrett Howell were charged with a misdemeanor for destruction of records. Their attorneys declined an interview with WFAA. Haygood believes the men should have been charged with a felony for obstruction of justice.
I've never seen it. I've never seen a case like this where there's destruction of government records ends up in a misdemeanor.
Because Carlos Lopez and Barrett Howell were charged with a misdemeanor for destruction of records instead of a felony for obstruction of justice, they faced probation instead of 20 years in prison. In Dallas, I'm Rebecca Lopez.